Hey there and welcome back. So now there's a reason why we just look at this for a minute, because we're going to do a little bit of a reveal on where we're up to so far with the layout. So if you're ready, this is what we've been working on and where we've got up to. If the camera will play along, thank you very much. Where we've got up to with our build progress. So as you can see, we've got a few little buildings, what we've looked at on the channel previously, what we're going to use for rough scaling on the size of things. We have got ballasting gone down, and we have done some work to improve on the ballasting. Now then, I do have a video on ballasting, and funnily enough, that was the very first video that I did for this channel. So my question to you is this: would you like me to do another ballasting video? You know, would you like me to revisit that as kind of like a, well, near enough like a 2-year thing, and show the different ways that you can ballast, as in, like, you know, a more budget friendly way, and obviously doing it a slightly different way? Or if you want, if you can choose, you could go back to my old video and you can just check that out. So as we can see, we've got our station in the background, and what we are looking to do is this is going to be our main station. For the layout, we are looking to do some lighting underneath here. Now I understand, as you can see there, we've got a different looking panel from these two. Now it's not something what kind of bothers me that they look slightly different, but just so you guys know, that is two different kits. So two of the kits, which include this building here, it's the Hornby station set. There was two different ones, so obviously in two different sets, you know, things can be slightly different, so that's the reason for that. We have our lovely booking office station house, and what we plan to do on this end here is we're going to have a walkway going over. Now if we just get a little bit closer up to this, I try not to block the whole light with my body. As you can see here, like I mentioned in the other video, because of the way that the wall is, see where it's coming out, we have trimmed the station to go along, to go with the wall, and that, as you can see there, that is just going to stay as it is. We're going to put a bit of something on the end. Now also with the station, as you can see here, we have a little extension there, because what we did want to do is I wanted to make this station kind of as long as I could across the back of the layout, because this part here is going to be the least bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Not interfere with, but the least bit used, if that makes sense. So apart from cleaning, then that bit of track along there, and indeed coming round, is going to need absolute minimalistic attention, well, when running the layout. So what I am going to do, let me just quickly change the camera and let me just bring something to your attention. Now obviously, yes, you're looking at the end of the station, but there is a valid reason for that, and that is this. When I bring it round, and I am so sorry that my shadow's in the way, but that involves this train, the Pendolino. Now if you look at the front of this Pendolino, if I just slowly zoom the camera in for you there, you can see how far that this Pendolino is actually sticking out away from the track. Now that did cause an issue, because as we were coming round, and let's just see if I can find a stick or something like that. Aha! This'll do. A kind of self-fashion pointing stick. So it just saves me crawling all over the layout. So if we can see here, the end of the train on this bit is actually on line with this rail, whereas the end of the train here, as you can see, it's really far back and it is sticking out quite a way. Now obviously the issue with that is that it's going to be, when it comes round the end of the track, is that it's going to catch on the station here. Now, because of the type of the layout what it is, and that we don't have a straight before the station, then that unfortunately does mean coming straight off a curve, it is giving us that problem. So what we've done, we had to make some minor adjustments to the station. That is partially why as well, the reason why that bit is slightly shorter. And again, it is a little bit of a pain with the way that these locomotives run. And obviously, because, you know, it would have been quite easy just to make this station a lot shorter. It would have been more on the straight, and then that would have meant that there'd have been no problems with the fact that the Pendolino was actually going to stick out as much as it does. But in wishing to make this station as long as possible, it was just something that we had to adjust. So as you are building a new layout, just bear in mind that the trains that you are running, or possibly likely to run, may affect just ever so slightly how you have to build things. Because obviously, you know, you don't want anything to be hitting stuff, catching stuff, because as well as damaging your locomotives, then, well, it, you know, shoves stuff out of the way, they can derail, and obviously if you're having to try and fix everything every 5 minutes, then you're not really going to enjoy it as much. So that's what we've had to do with the station over there. Now, when we come over here, this was going to be our siding. So what we decided to do with this, keeping in line a little bit with the heritage side of things going on, is that we have decided to make this into like a miniature heritage line. Now obviously I know, you know, there'll only be able to be a couple of coaches on there sort of thing, you know, compared to this one. And with the layout what I've got, my intention with this layout is to literally run whatever I want. If I want to run a Pendolino and an old steam locomotive on these two lines, that's what I'm going to do. But also in mind, so this can be kind of like a small heritage line. Also, this line can also be your like local everyday line. So you have your little DMU coming in, picking everybody up to go to the main station or the main part of the town, village, whatever. So that is the intention of this one. Now if we come over here, we have another station that's not kind of really going to be a station. So the more of the intent to this is going to be on this part of the track here. As you can see, we've got our cars to try and help with planning out the road. Is that what we're going to do with this is that this is kind of going to be, say, where maintenance is, you know, like the rail workers get on, that sort of thing. And we are looking to put a shed up here, so that will be a good little part as well. And as you can see there, we've got a shop in the distance, and that piece of polystyrene is for a upcoming part. As that goes a little bit further on, I'm going to show you what I'm doing and how we're going to do it, so hopefully you'll like that episode too. And then yeah, that's kind of going to stay as it is there with the shop, and then we've got your little signal box. Now then, when we bring it round to here, we did decide to keep this long siding, and this siding is practically long enough to fit all of this Pendolino in. So that is a great siding. It means that we can have a couple of long trains that we can switch between, because this siding as well, when we choose to, this siding is going to predominantly be for DCC, because you know we have a little bit more that we can do with DCC on that rather than just the middle line, which is only got, you know, that one little siding as we can see. And also, as you can see, this siding does come back on itself, so we do have room for another couple of coaches, wagons, couple of locomotives, so it gives us a good little opportunity to do a few more little things. Now also as well, as you can see, because we've got the siding here, if we go up, you can see we have a couple of lines, and what we've done is we've measured across from this, because this will give us the right scale and the right width, or roughly thereabouts, for the road, obviously being 176. So that should give us a good idea, a good benchmark. So then for the center, we can work out where everything's going to go. And as you can see here, out of all the buildings that we already have, which we can use to fit onto the railway, they are taking up, if I do this, quite a small section. So as you can see, we've got a lot of room on the inside that we can utilize for buildings, scenery, whatever that we could choose to do. So there's a lot of good stuff going to be happening. So one thing that I will like to show, get your words out, that I would like to show you is this. Now this is a part what I do kind of like doing, and I think this is a great little thing to do with any layout, and that is, shall we say, let's think. Okay, let's just keep it simple. Making in between the lines look a bit more realistic, give it a little bit of a less boring gravelly look. So yeah, so what we're going to do, we're just going to quickly show you how that we do that today. So there's a couple of ways that is quite easy that we can do this. So let me just set you guys down here and let's get into this. So a couple of ways that you can do this is you can get a very fine ballast like this, and then with the ballast that you can just, come on camera, there we go. So the ballast you can just sprinkle along, that'll give you a bit more of like a earthy texture in the middle or around the edges. You can also get something like this. As you can see, this is more powdery. Again, you would just sprinkle that on, supposed to give the effect of, say, flowers, things like that. So that you would just take a pinch out, sprinkle down, and away you go. There is also these, what you can find, which you can get from any local crafting place, and I have had these for quite a few years, and you can see by them that I have used them, and that is some crafting powders. Now some of these do have a little bit of a glitter effect to them, which to be fair actually gives it a nice little touch in certain places. As you can see there, I've used quite a lot of that one. But this is something what you would say a lot of people use for card making. So if you are doing stuff like that, you pop the top off, then kind of like your salt and pepper shaker, you just shake it over and away you go. So that is a great little thing to use as well. Now there is the option of using a static grass tool. So that is where you put a, let me just move these to one side, you put like a negative charge down on the board, you use your static grass and it pulls the grass up so it's actually sticking upright, and that is great if you want to go for that, but they are, from what I've seen, quite expensive to get. Now the other way to do this, and this, to be honest, this is my preferred way, is with these. So as we can see there, Gauge Master, if the camera's playing, there we go, Gauge Master Scenic Puffer Bottle. Now these are brilliant. Well, as you can see, it is super easy to do. The camera's really not liking this cool temperature up here today. So as you see there, what you would do is you fill this up with your imitation grass, and then you can either shake it or you squeeze it and it puffs it out all over your ballast. Now the stuff what you pop in this, because these do have some stuff in, is like this. As you can see, it's very fine, very wispy. You can see that the fibres are all over the side there, and it does give it a great effect. So if I move the camera, like you've already seen, as you can see there, now this bit where this is darker, this is where the glue has gone a bit heavier, but it does give it a very, very nice effect. As we can see there, it goes quite thick towards the siding, and then it starts to thin out as it goes along the track. So that gives a great effect too. And also, if you look at this bit, let me just move the camera, get a bit of a better picture on this for you. Come on, there we go. When you plant bushes and things like that, you can also put this around the edge, and as you can see, it does give it, well, in my opinion, a absolute fantastic little finish. So what I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm just going to very quickly, because it's so easy to do and to use, just going to show you how that I'm doing this. Now I will say there is one thing that is good for new people, and I found this in my local shop. This was a while ago. Gauge Master do a little bit of a starter set, and what that entailed, or at the time, that's if they're still doing them, so I hope they do, you get one of these, you get some material like this to pop in your bottle, you get a little bit of grass, you get a couple of trees and bushes, things like that, and a few bits just to help to make your layout look a little bit better. And that's a great way to start. It gives you a couple of tools what you need, and you also get some materials to get your layout started too. So what we'll do, let's change the camera slightly, I'll get the couple of bits together that we need, and let's show you how I've achieved this finish. Right, okay, so let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to put our ballast down. So we're going to do whatever part that we want to do with this. So what I'm going to do for this bit, I'm just going to do this small section. Now, there is one thing with doing this, and that is you can do this afterwards. And the good thing with the ballast, and what makes it super easy, is that if you do want to add some more to this, and in fact let me just quickly show you, you use the exact same PV or PVA glue solution. You simply just need to pop some more glue down, wait for it to soak in a little bit. As you can see that in fact it may not fully show on camera, but all you're doing is you're then just popping down your extra grass on top like that, and then when that's all done, that's all dried, that is going to look fantastic. So let's just move you slightly that way, there we go. So I'm going to do what I did last time. I'm going to use my trusted truck or wagon. We are going to get some of the ballast, and we're going to just top up between there. And where has my paintbrush gone? There we go. So let's just move some of that away like that. Let's just put some more of this down. There we go. Now it doesn't need to be as much going down. You can do this quite fine, you could do it quite thick, you know, however that you wish to do your ballast. So for the video that I'm going to do today, that will do us absolutely perfectly fine. So what I will do is I'll just get my brush, just push a little bit of that ballast just up onto the track to hide where we've got the corking. There we go. So as you can see there, we do have a few bits what are lumpy, but hey, that does not mean to say that it has to be all nice and smooth. That for me is absolutely fine and perfect. And remember what I've said before, this is your railway, no one else's. You build it however you want to build it. So, and yes, I know I'm showing you stuff, but this is just how I'm doing stuff, and hopefully to help you guys. I'm not saying do it this way, find your own ways to do things, but if it helps you, then that is absolutely wonderful and fantastic. So we have our PVA glue mixture, and like before, we are just going to soak the ballast like that, and then in the middle. Now this is, I will be honest, this is a little on the thick side for my liking. I would like this a little bit more watery. You can see how it's kind of sitting on the top and it's not soaking through all the way. Now sometimes if you are using a finer ballast like the all coloured one what I showed you before, that can happen. And what you will find is, even if you do it fine, the actual gravel itself will float up on the surface. If you look over here, you can see how that's already starting to dry and soak in already. All that white glue's gone as I've been filming this. Fantastic. So what you would do is you get your grass and you pop it into your bottle. Now the thing with the grass is that you can get different shades, different colours, and this stuff here, to be truthful, it kind of does go a long way as well. So you know, you can get away with a lot with this. So it is as simple as you can either squeeze it out like that, or you can kind of shake it out. And also, if you let me just change you guys just a second. I do apologise about doing this. There we go. And what you can do as well, if you just very gently shake like that, then that's going to help you thin this out. So what I am going to do for this is this bit here, I'm going to make it really nice and thick, and then as it's coming outwards here, I'm going to like thin it out a little bit more. Or in fact, hang on, am I going to do this the other way? I'm going to do this the other way, because if you think about it, obviously more traffic here, less traffic here. You know, you would assume that that bit would be a lot thicker. So I am going to put a little bit more ballast down, just so I can show you guys what I'm going to do. So let me just get this. Let's just do a little bit more up here. Like that. There we go. Yeah, we'll leave it at that bit for today. You can see I'm going up to about here, and that's quite a nice good wide coverage. So let's get our PVA. Now there is one thing, the PVA glue that I'm using, I am putting it down over all of it, and the reason why I'm doing that is, you may think, well hang on, what if you're not putting stuff there? I'm putting it over everything to stick it all down, so you know, I don't want it to move around if I don't stick it down. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's no reason why this should come up, but it's just to help to stick it down so it does look better. So I am just going to nice and lightly pop some PVA glue over like that. And this is a good little bit as well, because as you're watching this, I don't know if you'll see fully on camera, I'm hoping that you can. You'll see as the PVA glue starts to soak in, like I said, this is a little thicker, so it's not doing it as good. It will go out to the rest of the ballast, so you don't kind of need to go over every little tiny area, because it will soak all the way through. I'm having to do a little bit more with that, like I said, because that is a little bit thicker. So what I'm going to do is just very lightly shake on here. Now let me just zoom you guys in a little bit more so you can kind of see the coverage, what I'm going for. Hopefully that should be about right for you. Brilliant. So I'm just going to go very lightly here. You also leave a couple of little patches as you would probably expect, and then I'm going to start to bring it in a little bit more, and then this bit here I am going to really start to squeeze the bottle, get a lot of this out to make it look a lot thicker. That's looking really good. In fact, I don't particularly like doing this, but I'm going to have to, I'm afraid. I'm just going to top up these couple of little dry areas because it's not soaking through again as much as I would like it. And then what we're going to do is, yeah, we're going to make this area nice and thick, as you can see here. In fact, let me just, I do apologise, let me just pick you guys up and show you. So as we can see by this bit here, it started off a little bit thinner. I'm just going to pop a little bit more down there, so as I am squeezing this out, you can see it's coming out, shaking a little bit there, trying not to shake you guys. Then as you can see, it's coming out a lot thicker as we are going out. Let's just pop a little bit more there like that. And that's giving a really nice coverage. Now if we go over to this bit here, as you can see, that's already starting to go a little bit better. That's looking really good. And then again, when all this has started to go off, when all this has started to dry, then it's going to eventually look like that. Now you can see there where the glue's gone a bit heavier and then a little bit lighter. It's giving us a really good texture. So you've got like dark grass, light grass, then that's kind of continuing along up and away, and it's thinning out there, and I think that looks really good, and it's giving it a wonderful effect. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of a, improving your ballast, shall we call it? It sounds about right. Improving your ballast or decorating your ballast, whatever you want to call it. So hopefully this has helped you guys out with a little bit of that, or at least just giving you a couple of suggestions, couple of ideas. And yeah, if you would like me to do or revisit a ballasting video and show you, well, the way that I do ballasting, or I may possibly do that for like a kind of like a 2-year, revisiting the original video sort of thing, then I would absolutely love to do that for you guys. We can go through a complete start to finish section from when it's looking like this to when it's completely dry. Let me know in the comments. I would love to do that for you. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this little update with how the layout is doing. I think next time we'll probably look at trying to put some roads in and see how we're going to get on with the inside of that. I can show you how we're going to do our roads. But yeah, it's moving along quite nicely now. It's looking really good. So fantastic. Again, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you a couple of good ideas, tips, or even ideas of things to include or to maybe possibly do with your own layouts. And with that being said, thumbs up, like and subscribe. And as always, we shall see you in the next video.